one of the original Shinobis on Genesis.
Yeah.
So when they ported it over here, at this time Sega was super lax. Like they didn't screen any games. Like Nintendo always to screen games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the first run of the game, I shit you not, one boss straight up Godzilla. Like it's actually Godzilla. Next boss straight up Terminator. Like it's Arnold, and then he his eye, like his skin comes off, and he partway through the fight.
Yeah.
Best fight though is it's a medley fight. You fight Spider-Man and Batman. Just like the two of them teamed up to fight, and it's fucking awesome.
That's pretty dope.
But it's only in the first version. So from there's two more versions. In each version, they tried to modify the sprites more to get them farther away. And by the end, Batman is this giant black demon. But Spider-Man just becomes more of a red spider guy.
Yeah. Just called around hey.
It's really good though.
Your friendly neighborhood spider guy.
They barely did anything to Arnold, though. He's just Guy. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's already pretty just Guy.
But you're a ninja, a normal ninja, fighting Godzilla, Terminator, Batman, and Spider-Man.
Sweet.
So good.
That was actually one of my considerations for this podcast, was Ninja Gaiden.
Which podcast? This episode of Hypothetically Speaking?
This episode of Hypothetically Speaking.
The one where we're talking about which video game protagonist
Absolutely.
we would be if we could be any video game protagonist.
Oh, yeah.
That would be perfect to bring up because that's what this episode is. I am Tyler Malter. With me is
John Reed
and
Ender
from Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Did you just you heard the word game and you were gotta think of something?
Yeah.
You went with Ender's Game? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Sean Murphy as Ender from Ender's Game, which is a book and a movie, but not a game. So
not
great
yet.
job.
Not yet.
You picked the two mediums we're not doing this week. Okay, so as we said, this week's episode is all about which video game protagonist we could replace with ourselves. If we could.
I have questions about the rules for this one.
What?
I
Did you not know the podcast?
I read it 4 times, and I read antagonist.
Oh, well, Sean's gonna go last.
It's gonna be good.
Okay.
Okay, so do we become the protagonist in this world, or do we go into their world?
You go into their world.
And you become that person.
You become that person. So in a world, for instance, in a world where Skyrim is real,
You'd be Dovahkiin.
You would be Dovahkiin. You would be able to do shouts. You would be able to learn magic. All the rules of the world would still apply to you.
Definitely a runner-up for me.
I'm still going with antagonist. I'm doubling down on it.
Okay.
Because it's real good, and I've got a lot to say. Okay. But I have more questions, and they're kind of interchangeable.
Okay.
So, am I literally that person?
You look like yourself, think like yourself, act like yourself, but you are Dovahkiin.
What if they're crippled?
Sure.
Am I crippled?
Yes, you are
get their
crippled.
powers and everything.
Yeah,
better or worse?
Powers, all that stuff.
If they're diabetic, I'm diabetic.
Absolutely.
But okay, but I'm me.
Yeah, you are Sean. So, for instance, Mario. It's not Mario, it's Sean.
Yeah.
And you're running around, jumping on toads or whatever, Goombas, and you're fighting Koopa, and you're trying to save your girlfriend, Princess Peach.
I cannot believe I got antagonist. No, it's gonna be good. All right. Okay.
Sean, would you like to start?
I hope I'm the antagonist in one of your games.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh man, I had a lot of runner-ups. Let's see here.
I did too, so I'm glad that we have a list.
So,
I think my game's still the same.
So I'm going to go through my runner-ups real quick. So I almost picked one of the members of Double Dragon.
Bimmy and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Which
almost
one?
picked one of them.
I would be Bimmy.
I think that's Jimmy.
No, Bimmy.
Is it? Yeah.
Bimmy is the blonde one? Great.
But yeah, I was like, man, because when I was a kid, I watched the movie, and I totally play acted as one of them on Recess.
Sure.
So yeah, that was my first one. And
wait, did you just bring up the movie?
The Double Dragon movie.
The Double Dragon movie?
Yeah.
That movie's terrible.
Well, still, I watched it as a kid. It was the greatest thing next to... I don't know, anything else I'd watched. And then there was Terry Bogard.
Next to the Super Mario movie.
From Final Fight, yeah.
Fatal Fury.
Fatal Fury, yeah.
You should be Mark of the Wolves.
King of Fighters, yeah. But,
Mark of the Wolves Terry's good.
Yeah.
He's got a ponytail and he's grizzled.
Yeah, see, I got this thing for muscled up blonde dudes. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently so.
It's very Aryan of you.
And then I was like, And then I was thinking of Rash Pimple or Zitz from Battletoads.
There it is.
I spent a lot of time playing one of the Battletoads.
You're only gonna eat flies, dude. That's
right?
it.
Like if one of you didn't pick Frogger, at least as a runner-up, I'm disappointed.
Well, and here's the thing too, because you can't have friends then because the game was impossible co-op.
Right. Absolutely.
So
You're solo.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my life now. And then I thought, well, I have a military background. Maybe I'll be like Big Boss or Master Chief, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's too depressing because Master Chief doesn't get any ladies. He's got Cortana, and Big Boss is, well, Big Boss. He doesn't really have any powers. So I settled on Tommy Vercetti from Vice City.
Dude, I am so glad you picked Grand Theft Auto. Okay, so first of all, I sat down with Michaela again today, and I was like, hey, I need you to help me talk through some of this stuff so I can figure out what my real answer is. And I brought up the fact that, John, I thought you were going to pick Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Yeah.
Because you create your own character, and then you go through all of the events of Dragon Ball Z. So I was like, John's totally going to pick like Dragon Ball Xenoverse or Xenoblade Chronicles or something like that like I know you play. Maybe one of the awesome boyfriends in Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, you could be a little Prompto.
Well, I thought about, like, as I was talking to Nicole about it, I was like, man, I got to think about a character. I was like, I would think of something like Cloud Strife, but then, like, the love of his life dies, and that would just be absolutely horrible.
Right, yeah.
Or, like, Noctis, and really, I'm just, a
twat.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so I was like trying to figure out what you were gonna pick, so I'd steer clear of it, but also to make fun of it whenever you picked it. So you didn't pick the stuff, but I did bring up that like you don't want to pick a thing like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, beat for instance, because that's like one of the only games in the entire catalog of history that has real consequences. So you picked like the one thing where you steal a car and you actually get punished for stealing a car.
When I told Nicole that I was going to pick it, she asked me why, and I was like, well, he gets all the ladies, he can steal all the cars, and he runs from tank police, and he can get away, and he guns down anyone that backstabs him. I mean, and he's got a ton of money. You don't really need to like...
He's like a boring Kratos.
Sort of. I was thinking about Kratos too, and I was like, but
not Aryan enough.
His family was killed. Yeah. No, I thought about a lot of characters, and I didn't pick like any Superman or Dragon Ball Z, like the stuff that I felt like you guys thought I was gonna pick.
See, and I was gonna say, no matter what you pick, you actually have to be Superman from Superman 64.
Yeah. No.
You have
from
to.
the Atari game.
I'll definitely go with my boy Tommy. I'll run with that one.
Okay.
Sure.
So Vice City is what your actual
absolutely.
choice is.
I'm stealing all the Ferraris, all the money, all the babes.
There it is.
You could do that in real life, though.
Yeah, but they'll catch me in real life.
They'll catch you in the game.
Well, yeah, but then you walk
get
right
4
out.
stars.
You're good right after, right? Because the world still has the world's rules, right?
Theoretically, yeah. I mean,
right? So, I mean...
In what other game can you take a semi and launch it on a ramp and fly through the air and then
real life
perfectly and keep going?
Midnight Club 3.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 options.
Be the avatar from Need for Speed.
Okay. So that's your choice.
That's my choice, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I thought about Grand Theft Auto.
Man, I was getting like really emo
Yeah.
with it too. Like I remember playing Soul Reaver as a kid, and I was like, man, I always thought it'd be cool to be some like demon vampire thing just ripping people's souls out. And I thought, I don't want to get dark with it. You know what I mean?
Trying to go
That's
light?
just real weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, Sean, are you ready for your antagonist, I guess?
Are we gonna talk about this? Because this got really complicated, all right?
Yeah.
So, like, I assumed the rules that we've discussed, all right? 'Cause, like, I assumed them. So, with antagonist, it got really complicated because I thought to myself, like, immediately I wanted to be Dracula from Castlevania.
Totally called it. Go
I
ahead.
was like, that would be super great.
I was like, no, Sean's going to be Alucard.
No, but here's the thing.
I was like, Sean's going to pick Castlevania or Mega Man.
Yeah.
No, stop.
Or
Stop.
some
You're burning my
obscure hipster garbage ass game.
I did think about that.
Those
too.
were the 3
I didn't
choices.
pick Bomberman specifically because I wanted you to pick Bomberman. And I didn't want to get in the way of greatness.
So I didn't want to pick Dracula though because he's always waiting. Like he's sick.
Sure.
Like, the beginning of Symphony of the Night, he's literally bored, and he's talking about how boring everything is. So thinking about an antagonist, that was my problem. Was I imagined like continuing whatever plight they had, and typically the antagonist has already achieved like whatever he was trying to do, and then it's the protagonist like fighting after him. Especially because I definitely didn't think about any game from like this decade because I wouldn't.
Right.
So yeah, like I just thought about so many antagonists that are like done or just sitting around like waiting. So Dracula was out the door. Like I could only maybe like cause problems. Oh, especially because like half the games he's dead, and so like he's dead through the whole game, and you're collecting parts of him to bring him back to kill him. So I would be alive for like 3 seconds and then die. So didn't want to do that. So I did think Dr. Wily. I thought Dr. Wily because the world it's the future, so like that's sweet. And then I could make robots for like anything and everything. And he's always piloting like the most ridiculous, like half dinosaur skull monster thing. Super great. Thought Dr. Wily would be great. Didn't go with those. Then I went King of All Cosmos.
Okay.
The King of All Cosmos definitely being the antagonist.
I would argue that.
He's the antagonist. He screws the whole world up.
Okay.
So the King of All Cosmos and Katamari Damacy, he created everything. He's the master of the universe, and he was flying through space one day and accidentally destroyed it. So you, as one of the little princes, have to roll up this ball it's a sticky ball, and you're putting together a bunch of random nonsense like toothpicks and elephants, and those seem pretty random.
Yeah.
And then you throw it up into space, and you create a new star, or you create a new planet. So I definitely think he was the antagonist. And that was a close one for me. That was a close one, which would have been good to also be a prince, because princes are pretty cool in that, and they can push like billion-pound,
right,
Katamaris. Didn't go with that. The choice I did go with
for antagonist,
yes, which literally could be either protagonist or antagonist, was Master Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts. And the main reason for that is like this is a cheat because I can go to like every world. So, like, I can go to all the worlds, and when you're in those worlds, the rules of those worlds apply. So, I can pretty much go, like, anywhere, and I'm a huge Disney fan, so, like, that's cool. And the good thing about the antagonists in the Kingdom Hearts series is that they're not, like, super about, like, eating up the worlds. Like, that's kind of a side effect. So, I would like to think that I would still be able to be, like, in these worlds. Like, I'm not there to destroy them. But Sora would be fine too, because then I could pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah. So Sora was like top 2 or 3 for me as far as my choices. And like you said, it's cheating because you're in the Kingdom Hearts world, but in reality, you're in all 100 Disney movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And now Marvel and now Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
like
this world is connected.
Right. Yeah. It's incredible, and it's like the ultimate 80-in-1 option for what world you end up being in. So I definitely thought about that, and I thought about a few others. I was really leaning hard with Saints Row, because Saints Row 4 is... I don't know if you've played the Saints Row games.
No.
So the Saints Row games are... it's a gangster game where you are the head of a gang, of a street gang. Yeah, very loosely. And it starts like the first game is you are just a street thug, and it's like a Grand Theft Auto ripoff.
Yeah.
But then by the second game, you like are controlling a whole neighborhood, and but each game gets like really ridiculous at a point where it's just totally absurd that you're like having breakdance battles and stuff with people. It's ridiculous. So by the third game, you're controlling a whole city, and then they were like, well, shit, we have to have a fourth game. What are we going to do for our fourth game? And you are the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And all of the members of your gang are like your White House employees and everything. Yeah, it's so good. And then the aliens attack and take me to your leader, and they abduct you, and they put you in a virtual reality version of your world where you have superpowers. So they were like, how can we one-up ourselves? We keep having these crazy over-the-top games, so let's give you superpowers. So it's just a guy who's able to like jump 5 miles in a single jump and has like all these crazy powers, and that's like the entire point of the game is you just have all these awesome superhero powers, and you're the president of the United States. And as soon as you defeat the aliens, you just go back to living as the president.
I feel
like, man, that's really cool.
That formula only works for a game like that.
Well,
it didn't work for Call of Duty. You know, how over the top can we get with like biomech suits in space and that kind of stuff, and then they're like, yeah, this sucks, let's go back to ground zero, but like in a game like that, I feel like there's no ceiling. You just go for it,
Oh yeah, and then they did Gat Out of Hell or whatever, where you have to fight demons.
Demons, that invade the VR world.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're also outside of the VR.
You
Like
own
it's.
the planet in the next game. You're gonna interplanetary. It'll be like No Man's Sky meets Saints Row.
I'm glad you bring up No Man's Sky because No Man's Sky was my second to last choice.
Oh, good. Yeah,
I
right.
felt like one of you.
Not second to last, like second to top. Like
Oh.
I went to No Man's Sky and I was like, holy shit. No Man's Sky is just interplanetary travel, and like sure you're alone, but you can like catalog all these aliens and stuff. But the thing is, I would be like a real person in No Man's Sky, so I could build bases and I could return to planets and I could fight aliens and I could be a space pirate. Like it's just I would have the whole universe at my disposal instead of just a world at my disposal. And I thought really hard about how awesome that would be.
You could collect all 5 things in the game and
Yep. Fly to the center of the
nauseam.
universe, blah, blah, blah. So I really, I was like, man, No Man's Sky may be the best option. I also thought about Horizon Zero Dawn for a more grounded thing, and then I'm just fighting robotic dinosaurs, and that's pretty rad.
It was either Tommy or Aloy for me, but I would be like me, but in her role, as a character. And then I thought about like getting sick in the game, and there's like no technology to like no ibuprofen.
Oh
like,
sure, yeah. She
head.
gets polio like right after.
There's a lot of downsides.
I was like,
it's not good
to Horizon. So I was pretty set on all of those, and then I was like, man, I just need more games running through my mind. So I went online and I just, which I do every single time we have a topic, is I just search it and get inspiration. But I found IGN's top 50 video game worlds.
I actually went through the very same.
Did you?
That's where I pulled my my runner-ups from.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we all did, because I didn't think about it at all until I looked at this list. But number like 27 or whatever is Pokemon.
Yeah, I thought about Pokemon, but I would want to like be one of the Pokemon. I don't know.
No, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
God damn it.
And that is what I would
credits.
do. So I So I look at Mika and I'm like, oh my god, Pokemon. She's like, everyone's gonna think you picked that. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't care because I can have a team of 6 Charizards and they will fly me around and I can travel the entire Pokemon universe, collecting other Pokemon, getting as many dragons as possible, being ruler of the world. And like, the sky's the limit, literally, because I have Dragonites and Charizards that I can fly on.
You could start your own like airline service in the Pokemon world using Charizards and Dragonites to fly people.
Or I could just destroy everything.
Yeah,
Which is always what I lean
that
towards.
doesn't really go well.
The
for guys
ultimate
that try to
power,
do
destruction of the world.
Like route Giovanni from his gym and be the next,
What is some like
mobster.
12-year-old gonna stop me?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that was the thing. I guess I dismissed it because I was still thinking antagonist, and I was like, they just stand around and wait. Like,
yeah.
that would be horrible.
Sean would come into my world, grab Tommy, we'd go into the Pokemon world, and we would just rule
Oh
rule
yeah.
all the islands, man.
No, I would do that. That's
Well,
what I would do.
Wait a
as the
second.
leader of the
Why would
Pokemon.
why would I show up and pick up like a mobster from Vice City?
Why not?
Like,
man?
I need you, man.
Yeah, you need a real mobster in Giovanni's place.
Your freaking Keyblade's like a cannoli. Like,
It's like it's totally like a Bill and Ted's version of like
Sure.
no, there's a bad guy in the Pokemon world, we gotta stop him. I have to go and collect all these random
Dude, we could get
people.
a Rotom to hunt the Ferrari, it'd be great.
oh yeah, that's
Turn it
great.
into like the
Oh,
flying
dude.
car from Final Fantasy. It'd be nothing.
That would be pretty sweet.
We're back to the beautiful boys.
Beautiful boys in Final Fantasy. That's the most important thing that we've discussed tonight.
Yeah.
But are there any other runner-ups that you guys had?
Well, now I have all the protagonists. I would challenge you to go the other direction.
An antagonist?
An antagonist.
Man,
Jeez.
I don't know. There's not any compelling
Is
villains.
there one that beats the good guy? Because I don't want to be the guy that loses.
So I'll pick my protagonist, and I'm gonna pick the totally up my ass like indie game you never heard of.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna pick Captain Rainbow. Captain
From?
Rainbow from the titular game Captain Rainbow for the Nintendo Wii. It's an official Nintendo title, and he is a henshin superhero, which is like Power Rangers, like a guy who transforms into like a super crime fighting martial arts hero. Except he resolves all battle with golf. So he's like hitting like balls of fire and like blowing up shit. But it's like battle golf actually would be the correct way to pose it. Okay. But it takes place on an island where it's all of the forgotten Nintendo characters. So and it's really really adult and raunchy. Like the first person you meet is Birdo, and Birdo is trying to convince everybody that they're like Birdo's actually a girl.
Yeah.
So you have to go to her house and get her vibrator. And it's very literally her vibrator, and like show it around and be like, "See, this is Birdo's vibrator.
She's obviously a girl.
Definitely a girl." And before the heyday of like bringing Little Mac back, he's in it, but he's like super obese, like super
Just
obese,
out of shape, Little Mac.
Yeah, so you have to like work with him and like train him, and all the while like traveling on this island, just battle golfing. And it just seemed like a pretty sweet world.
Yeah, dude.
So.
I mean, I would totally be in for that. I figured also, granted, I didn't know that you read it wrong, but I thought
read it
you.
right.
I know. Okay. I thought that you would pick Tingle.
Oh!
And I was like, man, Sean's gonna fucking pick Tingle.
Did you really think so?
And we're gonna have to listen to him talk about Tingle hunting rubies and rupees and.
What else does he do?
What do you mean? He floats on a balloon until you hit him.
Yeah,
And he falls in the water.
I just wanted you to talk more about Tingle. It's kind of like porn.
Thank
to me.
you. It's disgusting. Tingle is the worst. I can't think of a good antagonist.
You can't think of a good antagonist?
No, that I would pick. Like I like the Dr. Light or Dr.
Wiley?
Yeah, Wiley.
Oh no, he's just sitting around too. They're all just sitting around.
But he is like theoretically you can connect the dots and say he's building the next robots for Mega Man 2. And then Mega Man 3. You know, like, he's constantly iterating on... He puts his robots out in the world, and now he's starting on the next one. So it's a dude just being a robot guy.
Gosh, protagonists is a much easier decision. Next choice for me is Chester Cheetah from the Cheetos game.
Stop.
Like,
I picked Spot from the 7-Up game.
No, that's stupid.
Oh, right, okay. My bad.
So
I don't know what I was
Chester
thinking.
Cheetah, he can pick up the cheetah... Remember when they did the Cheetos that looked like paw prints? You pick those up, you're invulnerable, and you just tear through the world. And he's got a cool car. You like cars, don't you, John?
Oh yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
you want a Ferrari you can put a Rotom in?
Yeah.
What if it was the Cheetos car? It's orange.
Oh, no, it's I think it's like pink
I
in
don't-
this one.
I don't know.
It's covered in Cheeto dust.
I just made it up, yeah.
Oh jeez, man.
Yeah, I would... If I had to go with an antagonist, I'd probably pick, like, a sweet dragon, like Ripley from...
Ridley.
Ripley's
from Alien.
You wouldn't want to be
Ridley from
Master
Samus.
Hand from Smash
Metroid.
That's-
Jesus! Jesus! I want to be Ripley from Samus.
Yes, please.
It's so good.
I was also thinking that I wanted to be Zelda from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, that'd be
I like
good.
his green tunic.
That'd be good. What if you were Mike Tyson from Mike Tyson's Punch Out,
Punch Out,
and you are
yeah.
one frame knocking people out?
Mr. Dream.
That's a 60th of a second to uppercut somebody,
I can do
and
that
they
right
instantly are like down. And you can join the Nintendo Club.
I would want to be a dragon, or I'd want to be Zeus from the God of War games.
What about I thought about Zeus too, but I thought I don't know. I just there's a lot of like sadness and murder, and
I like to think that in between the scenes of God of War,
it's like a party.
he's just having a blast.
What if you were like a Mike Tyson dragon?
Okay.
Like,
You
that's
got
it.
me. Like
That's all I
I'm
got.
in now. Now finish.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Mike Tyson.
I'm a dragon that goes around one punch uppercutting people.
Yeah, 60th of a second.
I was trying to scroll through a list.
An
real quick.
antagonist
For
list?
antagonists?
Couldn't find a good one.
Couldn't
Yeah.
find one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like Alduin and
You ever played
Oh,
Wolfenstein?
that's pretty good.
yeah.
He's the world-ending dragon or something like that.
Yeah.
World
Eater,
Eater.
Worlds, whatever they call them.
I don't know.
They made a Watchmen game. You could be like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
He's not a protagonist. Ozymandias is.
He's a tagonist.
Antagonist. Just one of them.
Just one of the tags.
Protagonist.
What does
Tagonist.
that even mean?
It's just a guy,
Okay.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
do we
And
have... Go
Like a
ahead.
tagonita, like a lady.
They're gender specific.
Yeah, tagonita.
Okay.
Antagonita and a protagonita.
I'd probably go with like the
Jesus Christ.
like I would let
This
the
has
Venom
devolved so
symbiote
fast.
take over because it's evil in
Oh,
some cases,
dude.
and then you can just
The Ultimate Spider-Man game,
yeah.
that Venom, he's a protagonist and an antagonist. Because
That's a tagonist.
that's what antagonist is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an all-tagonist.
Yeah.
Like they do it all.
All of them, yeah.
All.
like
Well, I
bad
would
guy
say
with
that he's a
lines.
protagonist, like he's professional.
You could be
Like, he's
E.T.
really good at
from
it.
the E.T. game, where you can extend your neck and climb out of holes.
More importantly, you can bankrupt Atari and cause the destruction of the entire video game industry.
Technically, the
Okay.
Pac-Man
Well,
game.
thank you for.
They manufactured more copies of the Pac-Man game than there even were Ataris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know?
I do now.
Thank you, Sean. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Hypothetically Speaking. You can find us at our new website, tablenight.com.
I could be Master Barf. He's a pile of vomit.
You can also find us on Twitter at TJMalt421 for myself. John is
at John Reed Art. Same thing for Instagram.
Chuck Bonsai 1 for Sean.
for Sean. So check us out, hit us up, like our Facebook page, like, comment, subscribe down below. Yeah. Thanks for being here with us as your pals. We're your favorites, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
If we were a video game, I hope you'd pick me.
Hypothetically Speaking is a Table Night production. I can't believe those assholes paid me $5 just for that.